All right, so week 15, and I've been talking about it, but here is our next to our last develop it, right? So we're moving into Thanksgiving, so you do need to turn in your code by the 19th before Thanksgiving. But if you turn it in and you come do a code review, now this is all repeat, but if in case you missed it, you can, I'm going to give you until the 29th. Now, that means you need to have obviously scheduled me. You can't reach out to me at 11 this night and go, hey, I'd like to do a code review. It's got to happen really. This would be the last day you could have scheduled it with me. Okay? Oh, this is not our class. No wonder that didn't make sense. So for us, right, our develop it for. Alright, so what I'm going to spend most of the time in this video on, and this is what I want you to watch and reply, is because I've been giving some serious consideration to how we end this class, because this is the first time I've used this particular course, and I have one last develop it set up for that last week of the semester. And you know, we move into this last section into a topic that is moving into more the intermediate advanced parts of JavaScript and really any language, but is really talking about prototyping, inheritance, object doing constructor functions in order to build objects. And we've done, we've built objects, we've used object methods, but this is really a new paradigm in the way that we look at things. And what you end up with after you finish the second part of the code up is you end up with what is deceivingly just a simple hangman game, right? So if I hit, right, so it's actually keeping track of my keystrokes, telling me how many I have left. But more importantly, what it's doing is it's teaching you this new paradigm, right? This new paradigm of programming. And like, let me bring this up, right? So actually that's the listener, and then here's the, and actually this is the last part where we take it from a constructor, a traditional what we call prototypal reference, and in this case using a class. So this, there's not that there's anything really terribly new here, but understanding the way objects inheritance, prototypal inheritance works in this case is great because it builds upon things we already understand. So I've been thinking about, because in this case we wouldn't be able to, without some work that I think would take away from learning this, we wouldn't really be able to take forward the develop it for code that we'd have. We'd have to start with new, and that's okay. I actually have been playing with that myself and thinking about different ways. So let me just show you an example. So like in my, not in my develop it yet, I was playing around actually in, oh maybe I did I do it in here yet? Let me just go look real quick. Not yet. So I put it in this case in my public, right? So by the way, this is the workspace, and you just open folders and you save the workspace, which allows you to save multiple folders. I noticed somebody asked me, but I didn't go over it in detail, but I'm going to find something that gives you that content. So like for what we've been using so far in our Learn Togethers, right? I built a usage constructor, and in this usage constructor, what happens is if you wanted to save the data into local storage, you actually lose the reference into the prototype, and this is something you're going to learn, which is a way that we chain objects and methods together. To be able to have methods run across multiple, in this case, instantiated objects. So I did this, and you can do this. I ended up coming close to what I had before. So I was thinking about this. So if we end up doing, right, and this is where you're going to get to vote, okay? So this vote is where we're heading. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about what's coming up in the last code up section, right? And here's what I'm wondering. Like, if you were given a choice for your last develop it, okay, so we're going to move through section 10, is to either do a develop it or to actually complete the last section, which is the asynchronous JavaScript. Now, this is a section I haven't done, so I would also be excited to do this. I know what he's going to cover here, and it's going to be pretty cool because what he's going to end up teaching in this case is promises, closures, callbacks, and APIs. So these are some awesome topics. But I want you to reflect on a minute, right? Because I'm okay either way. So that's why I'm kind of throwing it out too. What do you think? Is that I'm okay because I think it'd be fun, and it's always good to take these concepts that you've learned and create something on your own. As of today, I've seen 2 students work for Development 4, and it was excellent. So, you know, but I also know that these lectures, I believe these lectures are so well done. You do learn quite a bit by just being exposed. Like here, async await. Is this an alternative to the way we do promise? And promise is basically saying, go do this thing, and then when you're done, come back, and this is how you process it. So it allows you to continue your code running and doing other things while your program is going out. And in this case, it's going to show it, which is most how it's used, is when you're doing calls out to APIs to get data. So what he's going to end up doing in this section, and this is why I'm giving you a little preview so you know, is right now we hard code in the puzzle. Well, what he's going to do is actually have an API call out to get a word that is generated obviously somewhat randomly to then play the game with. So these are great things to learn. This is also stuff as we would cover starting after we in next semester if you're coming into Node.js. So this would be we'd repeat a lot of this once we do a review for those students who haven't had JavaScript. So coming back here, so that gives you an idea, right? So what I want to know is, given that short description, what is your initial thought of would you rather do a develop at 5 with a new data, like a new concept, a new app concept, or would you rather cover, and in this case it would be the entire section, right? So all in this case not 10 but 17. That's quite a few lectures. You would need to complete all these lectures and code up and challenges in this case. So what's your thoughts? What do you think about that? So please reply. If I see you've watched this and given me a reply related, I'll give you the point for this week. Otherwise, it won't be. So, pay attention, because I know we're getting towards the end, and I know there's a lot going on with other classes. So I just want you to kind of check in and see. And it doesn't necessarily, it's not, you're not committing to this one way or the other. I'm going to take your input along with just thinking more about this, because like I said, I'm fine going either way, but I think both are benefit. So I'm just curious of your input. All right, have a wonderful week. Have a great Thanksgiving, right? So we move into our Thanksgiving week here. We move into Thanksgiving, and I hope you get some wonderful time with your family. And like I said, I look forward to seeing more than the 2, because I've seen, like I said, 2 wonderful developments so far, and I've been really impressed with what you've been able to create so far. So I look forward to seeing everyone else's. All right, have a great Thanksgiving holiday, and I'll talk to you soon.